Okay. All right. So I looked through your homework and I realized you are able to do most of the questions, especially the 5A PDF. All right. So let's look at a few questions that I find that is worth going through. All right. So let me just get started. All right, the example one, find the prime factorization of these 2, 1, so basically 2184 and 3150. All right, so you are asked to find the HCF and the LCM. Okay, so yesterday is it yesterday? No, so on Saturday, I was teaching one of my students. In fact, I realized there is another way to find LCM. All right, so I'm going to share with you and see if this way works for LCM. So how you do this HCF in the first place? So you could have done it a few ways, but one of the ways is you can actually do it like this. Okay, you put the 2 here. Make sure that the 2 make sure that anything you put here is it must be a prime number. Okay, if it's not a prime number, you are not doing prime factorization. Okay, so it must be a prime number. And next is make sure whatever you put here, okay, is divisible by both 2184 and 3150. All right, so if you put 2 here, you realize you have 1092, and over here you have 1575. Can you help me out using a calculator? Let me double check this. Can you help me out with your calculator? If I'm correct, just put a small tick here so that I know I'm right. Yeah, help me out with the. Okay, good. Small tick. Yeah, this is too big. All right. Okay, so continue. You are going against my instruction. All right, so divide by 2 again. Help me out. 5, 4, 6. Then okay, you can't divide by 2. I realize because it does not work for 1575, right? So you cannot put a 2 here. So you need to put a 3. Put a 3 here. So you put a 3 here, you're going to have 3, 3, then 1, 9, so 6, then 2 is 4, and you have 5, and then you have 2, and then you have 5. Okay, then continue, divide by a 3, you get 1. You can't divide by a 3. What else can you divide by if you continue? Looks like you can divide by a 7, right? So you cannot divide by a 5. So basically how you test is you test with a 2 and you realize it's not divisible. 525 is not divisible by 2. So 2 is not the answer here. So 3 you cannot, 5 you cannot, so test 7. So you put 7 here, you get 5, 2. And then you put 7 here, you get 7, then 35, yeah, 75. Okay, so with this, and then you realize that that's it. I mean, you cannot find a common prime number, okay, and which is divisible both by 52 and 75. Am I right? So therefore, you say the HCF is given by this. So the HCF is given by 2 times 3 times 7, which is 42. Okay, and then so in order to find the LCM, right? So in order to find the LCM, can you divide by anything further here? No, you can't. So the LCM is actually given by 2 times 3 times 7 times 52 times 75. Can you help me out with this? So what do you get? Actually, you can write the answer here also. All right, good. So yeah, so can you see that for HCF, you can just take the one that you put here. All right, that will give you the HCF. And then for LCM, okay, so on top of the HCF, so this is given, I mean, this gives you the HCF. Okay, so on top of the HCF, what you need to do more than HCF is you need to times the every single number here. Okay, every single number here. All right, so that's how you can get your LCM. Okay, so this is the LCM. Yeah. Okay, so far so good. So this is another way I find that you can actually find your LCM. So this is your LCM. Okay, I discovered this while I was teaching my student, one of my students on Saturday. Okay, so this is another way to find LCM. So yeah, so you have an easier way to find LCM, I hope. All right, next, the next question is express this. I think you have no problem express this. Okay, I hope you have no problem express this into a simple fraction. All right, so you will end up with 52 over 75. Okay, how do you get 52? How do you get 52 here? You divide by 42 here. You divide by 42 on the numerator and divide by 52 on the denominator, and that's how you can get 52 over 75, right? Very simple. And then over here, give your answer 3 decimal places. So you just have to use your calculator and then approximate it to 3 decimal places. Okay, so this is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. So yeah, so you just have to approximate to the third decimal place. All right, so pretty simple. Okay, in fact, this question, what I want to discuss with you is this part. Okay, another way to find out your HCF and LCM. All right, good. Next. Okay. The next part, I think the example 2 is a very interesting question. Okay, so this question deals with there is given a P, and by the way, the P is given as this is non-standard form. Non-standard form. So what is the standard form? I'm going to show you what is standard form. Standard form is you are going to make use of times 10 to the power of something. Okay, this is what you need to fill up. Okay, and I think we have talked about a similar format that looks like this. So can you recall that if you are given 24, okay, if you do the prime factorization for 24, right, you will get 2 times 2 times 3, right? And then if you need to put it in index notation, this is not 3, this is 2. So this one is in index notation, right? Okay, so this is index notation. This is what you write in P6. Okay, so this is index notation. Okay, so I hope you can recall that this index notation, right, it looks similar to the standard form. Okay, it looks similar to standard form. Okay, can you see the similarity between these two? Okay, you have something to the power, and you have times something else. So similarly, you have something here, and then you have, yes, thanks for your written response. Okay, and you have 10 to the power something, which you have to find out. So the question mark here and the question mark here is for you to find out. All right, so I'm going to teach you how you can get these 4 zeros into standard form. And I'm going to explain to you why you want to use standard form instead of the non-standard form. Okay, so let me just erase this. Okay, so you have to get it into standard form. Okay, so how do you get this into standard form? So what you need to do is you write down the question first, and then you just ask yourself. In fact, you could have written this into 36 times 10,000 dollars. 10,000, yes. Okay, you could have written this is equal to 36 times 10,000. So what you have done here is you split, okay, you split 36 and you split 10,000, okay, and then you multiply these two together. Okay, this is one way. All right, but this is not this is not the final answer. Okay, because if you express it in this manner, 36 times 10,000, then the other student, okay, the other student can say, hey, I don't want to do it this way. Can I do it this way? Okay. Oh, my student disappear. All right, so let's wait for my student to get online. So while you are using Zoom or doing online meeting, this thing happens, right? Occasionally. Okay. So let's wait for my student to get online, and then I will resume the lesson as usual. All right. Hello. So what happened? Just disappear without warning. Can you see my screen? The whiteboard? No written. Okay, good. All right. You can write on the screen, yes. Okay, so yeah, so okay, let's get back to this. Okay. I was talking about, okay, so you could have split this 36, I mean, you could have split the 360,000 into 36 times 10,000. And then the other student could have split, okay, this into 360 times 1000. Okay, or some students, they can even split this into 3.6 times 10 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, or in fact, you could have written this as 50. Okay, so among these, they are all correct. Okay, they are all correct. But which one is standard form? Which one of this is standard form? Okay, so that's the reason why you have to choose one of them, so that one of these three here, okay, you can actually express in standard form. Can you make a guess which one? Which one do you pick? Which one do you think? Did you write 2? 2, right? Okay, so you pick 2. Okay, why 2? I mean, why this one? You pick this. Why this one? Or you pick 1? Why 1? Zero. Okay, so in fact, you should pick, the answer is not 1. Okay, the answer is not 1, the answer is not 2, the answer is 3. All right, so I'm going to tell you why you should take 3. Okay, so I have to erase the 1, and I need to erase the 2. Okay, so if you look at this one, okay, in order to express any big number, okay, this is a very big number. Okay, so in order to express any big number into standard form, the number one thing you need to remember is the format is always like this. Okay, it's always something times 10 to the power of something. Okay, and then this something here, this question mark here, okay, it has to be between 0, I mean, or simply put, it has to be, yeah, it has to be between 0 to 10, but it cannot be 10. Okay, 0 to 10. Okay, it has to be between 0 to 10. Okay, but 0 is not included, 10 is not included. So given this requirement, then you realize that your this 360000. So what you need to do is, since you have this, what you need to do is you need to choose a number such that is between 0 to 10, and then you realize that 3.6 is the number. Okay, so once you pick 3.6 out of this one, out of this entire thing, so you pick 3.6. Okay, so once you pick 3.6 and you realize that, so 3.6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times this 100,000 will give you, so that means this is how you split this. All right, so once you split it already, in fact, this is not the final step. All right, actually you have to write this 100,000 in index notation. So 100,000, like I say, 5 zeros, so you have to put 10 to the power 5. So in fact, the answer is 3.6 times 10 to the power 5 for this question. Okay, so this is standard form. Okay, given any big number, then this is the standard form you need to use to express that number. Okay, and if you look at this 360,000 compared to this 3.6 times 10 to the power 5, I think the standard form looks easier to digest compared to this 360,000. All right, that's the reason why we want to express this answer in standard form. Okay. Okay, so P is given as 360,000. In standard form is, if I choose a different color, how do I choose color actually? Okay, yeah, so the answer is 3.6 times 10 to the power 5. Okay, so that's how you get your answer in standard form. And then next, if you look at the second one, you have this negative, you have this, what is this? So you have the Q equals to 216, negative 116 times 10 to the power 2. So once again, you need to express this into standard form. So the standard form format is something times 10 to the power something. Okay, and then you should realize, so this minus 216 times this 10 to the power 2, you will get this. So you get it into this format first. So once you get into this format, so you need to pick a value between 0 to 10. So this is how you split it. So you split it into negative 2.16 times 10. How many 0? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you will get minus 2.16 times 10 to the power 4. So this is the answer in standard form for Q. All right. So this is another question for me to demonstrate to you how you can get it into standard form. Okay. And then, of course, you have your R. So R is given as this. One more 0. Okay. So before you can do this into standard form, you have to expand this first. Okay. If you expand this, you can use a calculator. Okay. So if you expand this, you realize this will be minus 8 times 10 to the power 4. Okay. If you cannot see this, it's okay. You just expand this out first. You are supposed to get 8 and then 4 zeros. So once you get negative 8 and then another 4 zeros, how do you split this? You split it this way. Okay, that's how you split. Okay, why you choose negative 8? Because negative 8 is between this. In fact, you don't care about the negative sign. You just put the negative sign out. So this is actually between 0 to 10. Okay, the negative sign, you just put it out. Okay, so basically you just focus on this. So you focus on this. Okay. All right, the negative side, just put it out. All right, so this is how you express the PQR into standard form. Okay, by the way, if you, I'm not sure if you have noticed, in fact, the standard form format, right, is actually for you to use prefix later on. Okay, what I'm talking about is there is this word called prefix. Okay, and the prefix is this. So this is 10. This is 1000. In fact, 1000 you can write as 1k. So k is the prefix. Okay, and then of course you have what? You have a million, so you can write as 1m. So this is also a m is a prefix. And then of course you have this 9 zeros. So this is 1 gig. So this is G is a prefix. Of course, we can go on and on. All right. So going forward, you will need to learn prefix like K, capital M, and then capital G. Okay. And by the way, if you look at your, okay, what's the size of your iPad? What's the size of your iPad? I mean the storage size of your iPad. Storage. How many gig? Oh, 1 T, you see? Okay, 1 TB. In fact, your this 1 TB, right? Your 1 TB, your this T is a prefix. Can you make a guess how many zeros? Can you guess? Your this T is how many zeros? 10 to the power what? Can you make a guess? You don't have enough space. You just tell me how many zeros will do. 10 to the power how many zeros? So what do you put on top here? 10 to the 100? No, not so much. Not so much. Not so much. Okay, so in fact, right? In fact, if you look at 1G, right? In fact, the next jump from, okay, 1K, then you times 30, you will get 1M. 1M, you times another 30 is 1G. So the next jump, you times another 30 is 1 tera. So in fact, it's 12 zeros. Okay, so 1 tera is 12 zeros. So your iPad has this 10 to the power 12 byte. Okay, you know what is the okay, this is the mathematical representation, right? What this means in real life? Can you make a guess what this means in real life? Okay, if you're telling me 1 HD, you know what HD, right? High definition movie. Let's say we're talking about a 1 HD high definition Disney movie. Can you make a guess how big is a 1 high definition Disney movie? Do you know the size of 1 HD Disney movie? What's this? 50. How come your handwriting is worse than mine? Okay, so the answer is 1G. Okay. Okay. Oh, sometimes it can be okay. These days is much better with better sound and with better quality. We are not talking about HD these days. We are talking about 4K, 8K. So just generally, a movie is about 1G. All right. So how many movies you can get out of your 1 TB? Can you make a guess? So 1 tera divided by 1G. 20? No. 1 tera divided by 1 GB. What do you get? 1 tera divided by 1G. So it's 1000. So basically you can, I mean, your iPad can, you can put about 1000 movies into your iPad. Okay. By the way, this is an estimate. Okay. This is an estimate. But just to give you a sense, okay, how big is your this 1 terabyte iPad storage. All right, so your iPad size, you can actually put about 1000 movies into it. Okay, so in order to understand this prefix later on, or in real life, like for example, your 1 terabyte iPad, so in fact, it's better to learn standard form right now. Okay, so when you have the number in standard form, right, you can quickly tell. Okay, you can quickly tell. All right, so we have learned something quite useful today. Standard form. Okay, plus the prefix. Okay. Okay, good. So I have done part A, question 2 part A, PQR in standard form already. And then they ask you to arrange them in ascending order. So if you look at the 3 of this, right, you can look at 1, 2, 3, and then you can start to see which one is smaller. Okay, the smallest I think is this one. This is the smallest. Okay, and then this is the in the middle, and then this is the biggest. So that's how you rank. Okay, so you should rank R. So let me erase this first. So if you need to rank them together, we rank them in ascending order. So you need to go with R first, and then Q next, and then P last. Yes. Okay. By the way, when you arrange them in ascending order now, you can actually use this format because you have learned the smaller sign already. Okay. So you don't have to use the comma anymore. Okay, and let's say evaluate. Okay, evaluate this part I think is pretty simple because what you need to do is you just have to divide accordingly or times accordingly, depends on what the question is asking. So I'm going to erase this part and I'm going to make use of this standard form to help me solve questions. So let's do the first one. You can use a calculator, but I think I can do faster without the calculator. Because let me show you why. Q and R, so I have minus 2.16 times 10 to the power 4 times minus 8 times 10 to the power 4. So what do I get? So what you need to do is you just need to get this times this. And then the next is 10 to the power 8. Because this 10 to the power 4 times 10 to the power 4, so it's 10 to the power 8. So you get 10 to the power 8. So you have to use a calculator. Let me launch my calculator. So this is you have negative, so become positive. So 2.16 times 8 is 17.28. 17.28. And what you realize here is this is not standard form. This is not standard form SF. Okay, because this one is not 1 to 10. So you need to convert this to 1 to 10. So just put the dot here. So let's put the dot here. So it's 1.728. So since you this one you lower by 10, so you have to increase by 10 here. So make it the same. So this is the final answer in standard form. Okay. So Q divided by over here you have expressed your answer in non-standard form, while part C asks you to put your answer in standard form. Okay, so you have to put it in standard form. Okay, then of course the next one I think is harder because it's divide. But anyway, I think it's actually still quite easy if you use standard form to do it. Q is this. P is this. Okay, if you can see here, what you need to do is you just have to do negative 2.16 divided by 3.6. So basically you do this part first using a calculator. So you have negative 2.16 I don't get a negative. Never mind, later I just divide by 3.6. Later I will add a negative. So I get 16.68. So negative 16.68. Yes. And then so you have 10 to the power 4. So you divide by 10 to the power 4, you equals to 1. You divide by 10 to the power 4, you get 10. So basically it's 10 below. Okay? Let me double check. The negative 2.16 divided by 3.6. I think I made a mistake. So 2.16 divided by 3.6. So 2.16 divided by 2.6. Yes, so it should be 0.6. So this thing should give you 0.6. So 0.6, you need to divide by 10 further, so it's 0.06. And by the way, this is not standard form, right? So how do you get into standard form? You need to put this into 1 to 10. So 1 to 10, that means you need to force this into 6. So 6 times 10 to the power negative 2. Okay? So that's the answer. So if you can see, right, if you have, let's say if you have, let me get rid of all this first. Okay, I'm not supposed to get rid of all this because I need this later on. Let me just erase this part. So something very interesting here, standard form. I hope you realize that if you have 10 to the power 3, what you will get is that if you put a positive, this is called a positive number. This is a positive power. Right? If you put a positive power here, you will see that your number is going to become bigger. So what if you put a negative power here? So this is a negative power. So when you put a negative power, you will see that your answer actually becomes smaller. Okay, so how you get this answer is you just write 10, and then negative 3 means your dot is here. You're going to move to the left by 1, 2, 3. So the answer should be 0.01. So it's 0.01. Okay. And then how do you get 1000 here? So you just do this. So you have 10. So you have 30. Let me double check my answer. Let me double check my answer. So 10 to the power of 3. So it means you have 3 zeros. So this is correct. Let me redo this question. So it's 10 to the power of negative 3. So what you get is you're going to get 1 over 1000. So 1 over 1000. So 1 is here. You need to go to the left by 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3. So the answer is 0.01. Yes, my first answer is correct. So this is the correct answer. Okay. So therefore, this 0.06 is 6 times 10 to the power negative 2, because 10 to the power negative 2 is 0.01. So if you can't see it, it's 0.01. So if you times this, you get 0.06. Okay, but because we need to express it in standard form, so this is standard form. Okay, so for standard form, I think it takes some time for you to get used to it. But anyway, you have to get used to it. Okay, so I will have some questions for you to practice this standard form. Okay, good. So the last question actually is also quite simple for P. So I can erase most of the things already because I just need to square root the P. So probably after this question, we will find some practice questions for standard form, just for you to get to understand what is standard form. So you need to square root this P now. So 3.6 times 10 to the power of 5, you square root it. So it looks like you cannot square root 3.6, right? So you can square root 36. So you increase your 3.6 to 36. So you need to delete 110 from your 5. Okay, that's why you get 10 to the power 4. I think now you can square root it already. So you can square root this, you square root 36, then you square root 10 to the power 4. So square root 36, you get 6. Square root 10 to the power 4 is 10 to the power 2. So therefore, the answer is 600. Okay, so you don't have to use a calculator. Okay, if you make use of standard form. Okay, so that's the answer for part, the last part. Okay, so now let's clear this, and let me just give you a few questions for you to practice standard form. Okay, so I have A. So please express this in standard form. You fill up this. B. Last one. Okay, yep. Can you help me out? ABC. You can do it on the canvas using your Apple Pencil. I hope you are working on it already. Are you working on it already? I see no written response, no verbal response. Oh, okay, good. What is this vanishing pen? Oh, this is nice, vanishing pen. So if you look at this, you only get 4 zeros. If you put a 1 point here, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Actually, you can test. You put this into your calculator. Yeah, you realize you will not end up with this. Yeah, it should be 6. Yeah, good. So let me give you a step. Good. Star. Can you see a star here? Can you see a star? Yeah. Yeah. Good. The first question is correct. After my intervention. Happy. Are you not working at 6? I mean B? Can't do. Can't read what you have written. Okay, so if you have this 0.006, right? So you know that this number has to be between 1 to 10, right? So you look at this, what is between 1 to 10? 6, right? Yeah. So I'm actually using a vanishing pen. That's why after I write the 6, and then it will disappear. Okay, so 6 should be here. Can you fill up 6 here? So once you have 6 here, right, then you need to ask yourself, so when you have 6, how do you get 0.006? I mean, okay, so your decimal point is here. So it has to be negative, by the way. It has to be negative. But how many places it moves? So if it's here, you move 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should have -4. Okay, yeah, that's how you can get the part B into standard form. Okay, you can actually use your calculator to verify. Okay, I have a calculator here. Let me verify. So it's 6 times 10 to the power of -4. No. Oh, this one I should times this. So 6 times 10 to the power of -4. How do I key in -4? I can't key in -4. I don't know how. Then, oh, okay, -4. Yeah, -4, and then 10 to the power of this. Yes, then you times 6. Can you see? Yeah, 0.0006. Yeah, 30 and then 6. Yeah, so this is correct. Okay, then what about the last question? Last question. I think you need to convert the fraction into decimal number first. So once you convert it to decimal simplified, you should get this. Yeah, 1/15, 4 zeros. Then you convert it to a decimal number. Then you just do it like part B. Six again. Let me see. I don't know. Let me use my calculator here. So it's 1/150040. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It should be okay. I think your this fraction, and you should end up with 1/15. I think 4 zeros. I'm not. I don't want to use a vanishing pen. I need to use a real pen. So you should get 1/15 triple. I mean quadruple zeros, 4 zeros, and then what do you get from this? 1/15 4 zeros. You should get 0. How many zero? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, right? So you need to get a number from here that is 1 to 10. Okay, and then I think you should get 6.67. That means this one. Okay, so if you get 6.67, right, that means your decimal point is here, right? So how many places you move to the left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means 6.67 and negative 6. All right. And in fact, you can test. You can test, meaning you just key this into your calculator. And if your calculator can give you this, then that means you get the right answer. All right. Okay. Standard form is a very interesting concept, by the way. All right. Okay, good. So yeah, going forward, I'm going to give you some standard form practice questions, probably like 10 of them. So then you will get the skills. Okay, you get the skills how to get any number into standard form. Okay, so you need a bit of practice in order to understand standard form. Okay, so today so far we have learned the concept of standard form. Okay, the importance of standard form is, so what's the importance of learning standard form? Okay, is for you to learn, is for you to express big or small numbers, okay, into index notation, meaning prefixes next time. Okay, like 1K, 1M, 1 giga, and then your iPad, the memory is 1 tera. That's very scary. Okay. By the way, these days, right? These days, I think the so far for consumer goods, we have reached tera only for consumer goods. Okay, we have reached tera only. Okay, we have not reached beyond tera. Okay, so not yet at the moment. Okay, good. So next question. Next question is next question is very simple. You get it correct. Then the map. Okay, I want to talk about the map. The map question is very interesting also. So the map here, the scale is 1 to 2500. Okay, so I'm not going to use the ratio format. Okay, this is fraction, which is also ratio. Okay, going forward, I'm going to use this format. Calculate the actual length. By the way, yep, this is the length ratio. So write it down first. So you're not going to use the length ratio for area later on. You cannot use this. So 9 cm. So 1 is actually, this one represent the map. Okay, this one represent the real life. So right now they say 9 cm on the map. What is the actual? So x. So can you see? You times 9 above, so you need to times 9 below. So 2500 times 9. So x is equal to, so I can launch my calculator. So 9 times 2500. So you get 22500. This is cm, by the way. And by the way, you don't have to put a unit first because you need to convert. Okay, you need to convert. So they want you to convert to meters. So simple. 22500 cm. Okay, cm to meter is divided by 100. So you get 225 meter. Okay, yeah, you get it right. The surface area. So over here, part B, they ask you to convert. So you need to make use of the area ratio given the length ratio. Okay, so part B, they ask you for the area on map given, this is part B, this is A. So area on map given the actual area of 450 meters square. Okay, so what you could have done here is very simple. What you could have done here is, so since you have this length ratio, okay, so how do you get it into area ratio? How do you get from this length ratio into area ratio? Can you still remember? By doing? By doing what? How do you get from length ratio to area ratio? You did not show your workings. So how do you get from length ratio to area ratio? What you need to do? No response. No idea. What you have written here? I can't tell what you have written, by the way. So how you get the length ratio here? What you do to the length ratio in order to get the area ratio? So the length ratio is this. So what you need to do to this to get area ratio? You times. You don't times. You square it. Okay. You don't times. Okay. You square it, both the numerator and the denominator. Okay. You square it. Okay. So once you square it, right, you can see that you have a 1. 1 square is 1. And then over here below is 2500 square. So you get 625. And then 25 square is 625. So 2 zeros. And then you square it, you're going to get 4 zeros. Okay. Okay, so in fact, right, over here, I think, by the way, once you square it, right, you will get cm square and cm square here, by the way. Okay. Both are cm square. Okay. Now, this is your area ratio already, but they are in cm square. So the question here is, you are given this in meter square. So you need to convert the meter square into cm square first. So 450 meter square to cm square, the conversion is times what? Multiply by meter to cm. Meter to cm, you multiply by 100. So meter square to cm square, you multiply by what? Correct. 4 zeros. Huh? 5 zeros? You just square the 100. Okay. So you multiply by, if you 100 square, you realize that is, you multiply by 4 zeros. So you multiply by 4 zeros. So it means you add 4 zeros to this 450. Then you will get the cm square. 450, another 4 zeros. Okay. So this is cm square. So, okay, now you can actually do it already. So just write 1 and then 625, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to find, I cannot use x anymore because I use x here, so I use y here. So it's over 450 and then another 4 zeros. So you can see that you have 4 zeros here. You have 4 zeros here, you can delete. So you simplify first before you continue. Then after that, this is become simpler already. So what you do here, you cross multiply. So it's 625y. So you will get 625y equals to 450. So y is equal to 450 divided by 625. So you can launch your calculator here. 450 divided by 625. Yes, your answer is correct. 0.72 cm square. Okay, good, good that your answer is correct. Okay, I'm happy to see that your answer is correct. So give you a star. Dun dun. Okay, so finally you know how to do area given the length ratio. Okay, so by now I hope you realize once you move on to secondary one, right, you are going to deal with really large numbers. Okay, numbers that is beyond millions, like 6 zeros, 9 zeros. So basically from set one onwards, you're going to deal with really large numbers or really small numbers. Okay, so the complexity level for set one onwards is higher. Okay, so let's take a brief break. So before we come back, and then we will restart our second half. All right. Okay, we'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay, go for your washroom break. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Welcome back. Okay, example 5, part C. That one is, I think this is not in your syllabus because part C is about volume, thickness. Okay, so thickness is about volume. Okay, so basically we are talking about the. Let's assume that this is a road, and then normally you put tar onto the road. Okay, tar is a kind of tar, right? Tarmac, the black color, the black color, the black color chemical stuff. It's not chemical, but like a kind of like a cement. Okay, you put on top of the road. All right, so we are talking about volume for part C. But anyway, part C is not in your syllabus yet. But anyway, I'm happy to see that you get your part A and part B correct, especially part B. Okay, so next. Okay, the next question I want to talk about is the question 5. Okay, question 5, it says you have 756, and then you are asked to put this as a product of its prime factors. So your answer is 2 to the power of 2, then times 3 to the power of 3, and then 7. So I can quickly use my calculator and double check your answers here. So 2 to the power of 2, 2 times 2 times 3 times, you have 3 3s, then times 7. Yeah, so your answer is correct. And then once you get this, and then find the smallest k such that it's a perfect cube. Okay, simple. 756k. So you need to get it into a perfect cube. So that means you need to be able to cube root this thing by putting in a k. Okay, so instead of writing 756, you can actually replace your 756 with this prime factorization. So what you can tell from here is square root, focus on the 2. So square root and 2 to the power of 2, you cannot cube root. You cannot cube root the square. So your k must have a 2. Because only when you times the 2 in, then only you can cube root the 2. Okay, so your k have a 2. Okay, and then you focus your attention on this, the 3. So cube root and cube, yes, you can actually cube root this 3 to the power of 3. So you don't have to add in, or you don't have to times the 3 in. And now you look at your 7. Okay, you cannot cube root the 7 because you short of 2 more 7s. So in fact, the smallest k is this 2 times 7 times 7, which is 14 times 7 is 98. So the answer is 98. So you know how to do this? I know. Okay. So looks like you still don't get this. Okay, because by the way, this is common in exams. So you expect this kind of question to come out very, very often. Okay, in your exam. All right. So let me just give you another example just to illustrate this point one more time. So what about, we're not talking about cube root here. We are talking about square, perfect square. Okay. What if I change the answer to perfect square? So if I change the question to perfect square, so instead of cube root, so it has to be square root instead. Okay, so how do you do this question? You need to times a k such that you get a perfect square. So that means this thing can be square rooted. So instead of writing your 75k, you write the prime factorization of it. So now you focus your attention on the prime factor 2. So square root and square, okay. It can be square rooted. So you don't have to times any 2. No need. Okay? Because square root and square, they cancel each other. So you don't have to add in any 2. Okay? Now, focus your attention on 3. So you have the square root, and then you have 3 to the power of 3. And then you realize that square root and 3 to the power of 3, you cannot square root this. So you need to times the 3. Because why? If you times the 3 into this, the whole thing becomes 3 to the power of 4. And then square root and then power 4, it can be square rooted. So that's why your k need to have a 3. Okay? So then you're done with the 3 already. So now you focus your attention on the last one, the last prime number 7. Square root 7. You cannot square root 7 because you're still short of a 7. Okay, so therefore your k must have a 7. So therefore the smallest k that you can times in so that you can have a perfect square is k equals to 21 in this case. Okay, so that's how you do perfect square. Just now I demonstrated to you how you can do perfect cube. So this question is perfect square. Okay, so if the question says times k, right, that means you need to like put in prime numbers. Okay, so the other time we have questions that instead of times k, the question says divide. The question says divide. Okay, how does divide by k change how you approach this question? Okay, so just now times k, so we need to put in more prime numbers. So now divide by k. Let's see what's the effect. Okay, so if you are given this, then what you need to do is you just have to write the 756 into a prime factorization format. So the question you ask yourself is the same thing. Can you square root? So focus your attention on this. Can you square root 2 to the power of 2? The answer is yes, you can. So if you can, you don't need to divide by anything. Okay, so done. No need to do anything for the 2 squared. Okay, next, focus your attention on this. Can you square root this 3 to the power of 3? You cannot, because square root can only do with even power. You know what's even power? Even power means even number power. Oh, okay, so if you don't know, so probably we need to talk about what is odd number and even number. Odd number is 1, 3, 5, 7, of course, so on and so forth. Even number 2, 4, 6, 8, so on and so forth. So generally, even number is divisible by 2. Okay, so for this one, 3 to the power of 3, 3 is an odd number or odd power in this case. So you cannot square root an odd power. So you need to divide by something so that it can be square rooted. So in fact, you can actually get rid of a 3 from this 3 to the power of 3. So meaning in order to square root this thing, you need to divide by a 3. So your k must have a 3. Because if you square root by if you divide by a 3 below, right, this whole thing will end up with 3 to the power of 2. So if you have square root and then you have square, they cancel each other. So your k must have 1, 3. Okay? Next, focus your attention on the 7. So like I say, you cannot square root 7. The reason is this is odd power. This is even power. So even power and odd power, you cannot. So what you need to do, so you need to get rid of the 7 by divide by a 7. So your k has another 7. So therefore, the smallest k is 21. All right, that's how you do this question if they ask you to divide by k. Okay, so for divide by k, right, is you need to remove prime numbers. Okay, so times k is you need to think of, you need to put in more prime numbers. Divide by k is you need to think of remove prime numbers. Okay, so these two questions they are very common. Okay, they are very common in exams. Okay, of course today you learn another concept, odd numbers and even numbers. Okay, and of course the first lesson we talk about what are prime numbers, right? Okay, prime number is 2 factors, 1 and itself. Okay, good. Oh, I just realized something. I can add a page here, so I don't have to keep clearing the page. Okay, good. Next. Next one is simple, 756k, 756k, such that find the surface area of a cube whose volume is this, where k is the value. So surface area of a cube. Okay, so for a cube, this is side. So you have 6 surfaces, including the top. Including the top. So they ask you to find the surface area of cube. So the k I found just now is what? Oh no, I erased it. But never mind. I times a 3 cube root, right? I can perfect cube, right? Okay, I don't need a 3. I need another 2. I need 2 7. So it's this. The answer is 49 times 2 is 94. 98. Yeah, so the answer is 98. Good. So the volume is 756 times 98. So surface area divided by 6. Okay. So instead of writing in this format, right, you can actually write in the prime factorization format. 2 to the power of 2, 3 to the power of 3 times 7, which is this. 98 is 2 and then 7 to the power of 2, right? Okay. And then once you combine these two, is as good as combining these. So if you combine this, you will get 2 to the power of 3, 3 to the power of 3, 7 to the power of 3. And now what you need to do, you need to divide by a 6. So if you divide by a 6, it's simple. 6 is 2 times 3. So you get rid of a 2, you get 2 to the power of 2. You get rid of a 3, you get 3 to the power of 2. So you end up with 2 to the power of 2 times 2, 3 to the power of 2 times 7 to the power of 3. So this is 4, this is 9. So 4, 9, 36. So 36 times 7 to the power of 3. You can use your calculator. 7 times 7 times 7 times 36. Okay, good. So the answer is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. cm squared. Oh no, this is not right. Do you know why? I just realized this one, right? This one is the volume. This is not the surface area. Okay, this whole thing, or this one is the volume, because it says meter cube or cm cube. So if this is the cm cube, right? So what I need to do is I'm not supposed to divide by 6. I thought this is the surface area. So I need to get the length out first, or the side out first. Okay, I need to get the side out first. Okay, so sometimes you make a mistake, but you need to realize that you make a mistake. Okay, means then you are able to self-correct. Okay, so simple. So you just have to just now what I say is 2 to the power of 3, and then 3 to the power of 3 and 7 to the power of 3. So if you cube root this, right? You cube root this, you end up with 2 times 3 times 7, which is 6 times 7, which is 42. So the side is 42. So you need to find surface area. So one surface is this. So you have 6 of them. So this is the answer. Okay. So 42 times 42 times 6. Yeah. So the answer is 10584 cm squared. Actually, the key is to find out the side first. So once you find out the side, then you just this is one surface. And like I say, a cube has 6 surfaces, including the top one. Okay. Because your K is wrong, that's why your part C is also wrong. Okay. Okay, good. Question 8. Question 8. Whoa, so interesting. Question 8, it says find the exact value of this. This should be quite easy. You can use a calculator, but if you don't want to use a calculator, it's fine with me. So you just cube root the 64 first, then times cube root this 10 to the power negative 6. So when you cube root, right, you can actually cube root them separately. Okay, so if you cube root the 64, I think you get 4. And when you cube root this, I think you get 10 to the power negative 2. Okay, so therefore you end up with 0.04. Yeah. Yes. If not, you can actually use your calculator and just let your calculator solve for you. Just key this in, and then you just cube root this answer. Okay, so the answer should be this. All right, next, it says the US census had projected that the world population on this would be. Do you know what's the world population right now? Any idea? Yeah, it's about 7B to 1 significant figure. Yeah, very good. To one significant. I'm not sure. What is the world's population right now?
I found this on the web.
What's the world's population right now? World's population right now.
As of 2021,
yeah.
The population of world is 7,846,000,000.
Whoa, no. It's actually this number already. So to 1 significant figure is actually 8 billion already. Can you see here? By Siri, by the way. Here. Can you hear? Can you see? Over here. 7.8 billion, yes. So 7.8 million to 1 decimal places. Okay, if you want to get this into 1 significant figure, it's 8 billion. Okay, so no more 7 billion. Huh? Okay, so yeah, 8 billion. So the question here is, wow, 2006. 6.535373127. Oh, we have come a long way. right? So let's just quickly do an estimate. So 7.8 minus this is 1.3. So within how many years? 2006, 2021. So this is what? 15 years. So 15 years, the world has grown how much? How many percent? So you take 1.3b divided by 6.5b. What's the percentage? You see, you can actually make use of percentage. Then you know how much the world has grown. 20%. 20% in 15 years, slightly like about a percent a year, right? 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 So is it a good sign or not? About a percent, this is called about a percent growth a year. Is this a good sign for the world's population? What do you think? Have you even given a thought about this growth of the world's population? Have you ever thought about it? This is not good. Okay, this is not good. A growth of 1% is not good. Okay, in fact, if you have read the news, okay, Singapore's population decline. Okay, 2021 decline. Okay, and then this is for Singapore. China, I think it's less than 1% growth. Okay, and then I don't know about the rest, by the way. Okay, I live in Singapore, so I know about Singapore. China, I read it somewhere, less than 1%. And by the way, I think you have heard about they have relaxed the one-child policy. The one-child policy. Okay, these days they are talking about three-child policy or 3 and more in China, just because of the less than 1% population growth in China. Okay, if they face no growth, right? You know, the population is shrinking. Okay, so that's not what China wants to see, and that's not what every country wants to see. Okay, so this is, in fact, besides, okay, we are talking about climate change, right? These days, people talk so much about the climate change, the issue of climate change, right? Actually, another very big issue is, I mean, the world is facing is population growth, or I will say sluggish population growth. Sluggish means slow or no growth. Okay, so the number one issue, the number two issue is, I think is these two. Okay, so now write down the population, correct the 4 significant figures. So 4 significant figures, pretty easy. So this is the first significant figure, second, third, and fourth. So you can actually write it in this manner, 4.535. So this is 3, so you round down. So you round down, okay? So you don't have to, so the rest is all 0. Then you don't put a, okay? You don't put a decimal point there. Okay, so yeah, you get this correct. Express your answer in standard form. Yeah. So once again, standard form. We talked about it just now. You want to try it? How do you get this into standard form? This. Since we talked about standard form already. This one. Into standard form. Okay, try it out. This is a very good question to try out standard form. Hmm, 6.535. So this is correct. This one is correct. 9. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, very good. So both are correct. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like you see, you have grasped the concept of expressing big numbers into standard form. Okay, just by this example. Okay, but looking at this example, right, I think we see some worrying trend when it comes to the world's population right now. Okay, good. We learned something today. Okay, question 9. Question 9 is also very interesting. Question 9 is about standard form also. Question 9 is 8 times 10 to the power 3 plus 7 times 10 to the power 2 plus 6 10 to the power m plus 3 times 10 to the power n, and then your answer is 87003. Okay, just look at this. Then you know that this is 8,000. So this is 8,000 and this is 700. Yes. Okay. So that means the 8 is taken care of by the 8,000. The 7 here is taken care of by the 700. Now the problem is 6 times what? Here. So can you see that the 6 is 6, right? Okay. So over here, what they want to test you is this. I'm not sure if I've learned this before, but if you have not, then you better learn now. Okay, so 8706.3. Let's see if I can add in some interesting things. Okay, good. Good. Probably I should change the color. Let me see if I can change the color. No, I cannot, but never mind. So they talk about the concept of positional value. Okay, what do I mean by this? This is your decimal point. Okay, and then this is your tens. Then this is your hundreds. Then of course your next this one, which I have not written here, is your thousands place. Thousands. Okay, and then this is your 1, this is your 10, this is your 100, and this is your 1,000. And of course, this is 10,000, you know, so on and so forth. Okay, until a million. Okay, so your this 8 is your 1,000, is below the 1,000, okay, value. 7 is below the 100. So if you put an 8 here, that means this represent 8 times 1,000. Okay, probably I should use a darker color. Let me put it as well. So you put an 8 here means 8,000. You put a 7 here, it means 700, because it's below the 100, okay, position. And then now you see that your 6 is here, so it means, because since it's 1, so it's 6 times 1. Okay, so over here it says 6 times 10 to the power m. So then they force you to have 10 here. So what do you put here so that you will get 6 times 1? That's the question you ask yourself. Okay, so the answer is, okay, 10, if you put a positive power, you put 1, you will get 10. If you put 10, positive 2, you will get 100. So you see that you cannot put a positive 1 here. You cannot put a 2 here, because you're going to get 10, at least 10. You also cannot put a -1 because you put a -1, you are going to get 0.1. So that means you put something between -1 to 1. What do you think? What should be this value m? What should be this value m? Can you make a guess? So if you put +1, you get 10. If you put -1, you get 0.1. So that means you need to put something in between. So what is that value? Can you make a guess? So you will get 1. You put 0. Can you test? 10 to the power of 0 is 1. 10 to the power of 0 is 1. Can you test with your calculator? So therefore, m equals to 0 in this case. Okay? Then this is easy already. So this is your tens. So nothing. So this is your hundreds. Hundreds means 10 to the power. Hundreds means 1 over 100. So 3 times 1 over 100 is 3 times 0.01. So 3 times 0.01 is 3 times 10 to the power of -2. So therefore your n is -2. Okay, so that's how you get your 0 and your -2. Okay, so you learned something interesting today. 10 to the power of 0. You can have power as 0, which is 0. Okay, so next, okay, you get your answer correct. How do you get m equals to 0, but you never show me the answer? Okay, but anyway, good. Standard form, yeah, good. Standard form is very simple. By the way, how do you get 0? Your answer is 0. How do you get 0? Test. Trial and error. Do you use trial and error? Hello, are you still there, my dear student? You use trial and error. Oh, okay. So next time you don't have to, because you see, you know that +1 it gives you 10, -1 it gives you 0.1. So you need to know, you have to put in something in between. So between -1 and +1, of course you can test 0.5. You can also test -0.5, but somehow you realize you don't get 1. So the next number is 0 for you to test. Okay, standard form, easy. Okay, so right now I think standard form should be quite easy for you already. It's 706.3. So you just, how do you get this? So it must be 1 to 10, right? So it's 8.70603 times 10 to about how many? 1, 2, 3. So you move 3 places. So this is the answer. Round off to 3 significant figures. So you have this. So this is your first significant figure, second, third. So round off to 3. So that means this is round up. So it's 871. The rest is all 0. Okay. So in fact, for this, you don't have to represent. I mean, you don't have to write it down. So it's 8710. Okay. You don't have to write it down also. Okay. But if you write it down, it's also okay. But anyway, so if this is not dollars, right? If this question is not about dollars, so anything, let's say you have 87.00, you don't need to write the 0.00. If we are not talking about money in this case. Okay, so good. Okay, so given this 5A PDF, right? I think we have learned a few concepts which I find is very important. Okay, so number 1, a new way to find HCF, which you already demonstrated to me in our first lesson, by the way, and LCF. Okay, I learned it on Saturday. Okay, so sometimes it's about learning from each other. So you know, sometimes I learn from my students, and if their way is better, go ahead. Then the next one is standard form. Standard form, it looks like this. So 10 to 10, I mean 1 to 10, and you have 2, just example, to the power of 5. Okay. So this is standard form. Okay. Hold on. Give me a minute. Let me just. Okay, yeah, sorry. I just asked my mom to close the kitchen door so that the noise is reduced. Okay, good. So standard form. So you need to put a value here such that it's between 1 to 10. Okay. Negative sign, you just put it out. All right. Then just have to choose a power. Okay. This power can be positive, can be 0, can be negative. If you have a positive power, so the number will be bigger. Okay. So if it's 0, it's 1. If it's negative, so the number will be smaller. Okay. So standard form. Okay. In fact, standard form is very much related to prefixes, which you are going to learn pretty soon. Okay. Remember, you have 1 terabyte. Okay. Which is about 1,000 Disney movies. Okay. Okay. So the last one we have learned today is so far is this one. So you times a k or you divide by a k such that it is a perfect cube. Okay. For times k, so you have to ask yourself, you need to put in prime numbers. For divide by k, you remove prime numbers from the 204. Over here is you put in prime numbers to the 204. Okay, so these are the 3 concepts you have learned so far for your this 5A PDF. Okay, then we can move on to this. This is actually harder. Okay, this is actually harder, and I would like to talk about the questions that you have starred. Find the value of x in each of the following. In fact, this question you have just tried already. Okay. Okay. So before you can do this question, right? Okay. This question is called indices. Okay. The concept of indices. So before you can do this question, I'm not sure if I have taught you in the previous lesson about if you have a to the power m times a to the power n. Okay. Let me not use m and n. Let me use real numbers. You have a to the power 3, a to the power 2. So, hello. Okay. So if what you get here? You will get 3 plus 2, and you end up with a to the power 5. You can actually work it out on the spot. So a to the power 3 is a times a times a, right? So a to the power 2 is a times a, right? So if you times these together, can you see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So can you see you have a to the power 5? Okay, so therefore you know that it's actually plus. The power have to plus together, not times, not times. You can actually work it out on your own, on the spot. Then you realize it's not times, not times. So okay, it's plus. Okay, so this is one rule you need to memorize. Actually, you don't have to memorize. You can actually work it out on the spot, just like I work it out on the spot. Then what about divide? A to the power 4 divided by a to the power 2. Simple. A to the power of 4 divided by A to the power of 2. So you can write it in this manner, fraction. So A to the power of 4 is, you have how many 4? How many A? 4 of them, right? So A to the power of 2, how many A you have? 2 of them, right? So you end up with, you're left with 2A above. So therefore, if you divide, is A 4 minus 2, then you get A to the power of 2. So if you divide, it's minus. If you times, it's plus. Okay? So with this understanding, right, then what is this? So this is divide, right? Same 7 and 7, so it's 7x minus 4. Okay, I'm using this to do this. So once you get 7 to the power of x minus 4, and then this is your left hand side, and then they say the right hand side is equal to 343. So that means what you need to do is you just have to equate this to 343. Okay, then you ask yourself, what is 343? So 343 is 7 to the power of what? Test. 7 to the power of 5. Let me test. Oh, 5 is too big. 7 to the power of 3. Yeah. So 343 is 7 to the power of 3. Okay. Then if you have this 343 is 7 to the power of 3, that means you just have to find out 7 x minus 4 is equal to 7 to the power of 3. So what you can do? Can you see that you have 7 as the base for both? So if you have 7 as the base, you can actually delete them both. Cancel like in a way. When you cancel the 7 both as the base, you end up with this. So x is equal to 7. Okay? Okay. So in order to do this question, you must remember this. Actually, no, times not plus. Okay. You don't have to memorize. You can actually work it out on the spot, just like what I did just now. So this is minus. Okay, let me just use 5, easier. So this is 3. Okay, so these two formulas, you don't have to memorize, just work it out on the spot, and then you know what to do with this already. And once you get this, you get 7 to the power of x minus 4, then you just compare to the left and right. And once you compare left and right and you see that they both have 7, you delete the 7, and then you are left with these 2. Then you can form an equation out of this, which is here. So once you form this equation, you just solve for x. So that's your part A. Part B, similar. Part B is 10 to the power of x, and then 0.0001. So you just have to express this into standard form. So standard form 1 to 10, so 1. Okay, and then times what? Times 10 to the power of. So you need to move by how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it gets smaller, so -4. So therefore, if you compare this to this, by the way, when you 1 times this thing, right? 1 times anything is anything. So you don't have to write the 1 actually. So you compare these two, can you see that you have both 10 as the base? Then you can cancel the 10. So you end up with this. Okay? By the way, this method is called comparison. Comparison method. Okay, so in fact, you have used comparison method previously without you knowing it. So let's say you have this. So can you see that you have 4 here, you have 4 here, basically you delete the 4, so you get 4 here. Okay, so similarly, if you have 4 to the power x, and then now you have 4 to the power of 12. Okay, you have both 4 and 4 as the base. Okay, by the way, 4 to the power of 2. This one is called the base. Okay, then this one is called the power. Just to get you familiar with the terms. Okay, later on. So they have the same base, then you can just carry out the same base. Once you carry out the same base, you get x to the power 12. Okay, so that's how you can get your this one. Okay, you use a standard form first. Standard form, and then once you get to a standard form, you have the same base 10. Then you delete the base, and then you end up with x equals to -4. Okay, then part C. Part C is also quite simple. If you remember the formula just now, which is here. Okay, let me just do it here. In fact, this question is everything about this indices law. And you don't have to memorize, like I say. So far, I have not asked you to memorize anything yet. And even for P6, right, I seldom ask you to memorize anything, right? So set 1, I'm not going to ask you to memorize a lot of things as well. So don't worry about it. So I just put this beside me so that I can refer to it if I need to later on. Okay, this is a square root. Okay, by the way, when you have a square root here, square root by the way, square root t is actually t to the power half. Okay, probably this is the thing you need to memorize. The rest you don't have to. And then if you have cube root t, you know what you are going to get? You're going to get 1/3 as the power. Okay, so similarly, if you have square root, this is the t is called the base. Then this is called the square root. Okay. Once again, okay. And then of course, if you have the cube root, the t is the base, and then the cube root is the cube root. Okay. So over here, same thing. This is t is the base, and then the half is the power. Okay. So if you can get this into t to the power half, right? I think the entire question is so simple already. You just have to combine these two first. So t to the power 1 times t to the power half. You make use of this. Can you see? 3 plus 2 gives you 5. So 1 plus half gives you 1.5. So that means the denominator, you change to this already. Okay. So if your denominator is t to the power 1.5, then the numerator is t to the power 3. So now can you see that it's divide? When you divide, then you make use of this. When you divide means minus. So 3 minus 1.5. So it's t 1.5. So when you have t 1.5 here, when you have t to the power x here, can you see you have both t and t as the base? Delete the base. So x is equal to 1.5. Okay. So most likely you have not learned this conversion. Okay. Other than that, you just make use of these two formulas. Okay, that's the beauty of algebra. Okay, the last question. Yeah, the last question make use of this conversion, by the way, square root. So let me demonstrate to you. So you have this 4x, and then you have this 1/16, then you have this -half. Okay, so if you look at this, 1/16 is actually 1/4 to the power of 2. Okay, and then what you realize is right? So when you have the power here, right, and then you have something inside, right? So what you need to do, you need to 被逃。上课吧，我在上课，我在上课，你可以在那边弄嘛，或者轻一点那个。好，谢谢啊。Okay, sorry So you have the power here. Okay, you have the power here. So you just keep. I mean, another thing is this: if you have an A here, right, divided by B here. So if you have the power here, so all you need to do is you need to apply the power inside. So it's A to the power of 2, B to the power of 2. Okay, so same thing, you need to apply the power in. This is a power. This is not times. This. Okay. And then you realize 1 to the power anything is, 1 to the power anything, I think is anything. It's 1. You can test. Use your calculator. Okay. So 1 to the power anything is 1. And then now 2 times this negative half is -1. So it's 4 to the power -1. Okay. So if you use your calculator, right, 1 divided by this 4 to the power -1, I think you end up with 4. So you compare this 4, you compare to this, and then you realize, hey, I have this base 4, I have this base 4, then you delete it. Then what happened to your x? In fact, 4 is actually 4 to the power 1. So the answer is x to the power 1. 特意的是的。Okay, so the answer is x equals to 1 in this case. Okay, by the way, I have my student beside me. Then he purposely make a lot of noise. That's why you hear a lot of noise. Okay, you know, some students, they are just like this. Okay, they just want to get involved. All right, so yeah, so the three formulas which you need to remember is this. Okay. If you cannot remember, it's fine. You just work it out on the spot. Okay, I have shown you just now how you can work it out on the spot. So if this is 5, sorry about it. So if this is 5, divide. So it's minus. And then the last one, I just put the 2 in. Okay, so these 3. So you have to you don't have to memorize, but anyway, you can work it out on the spot. Okay. Of course, the last one is this. Like you have this. No, let me not use a. Let me just use a number. If you have 4, right? In fact, this is 4 to the power 1. Okay. They just don't write it down only. Okay. And then of course you have 4 to the power 0 is 1. Okay. So this is something we worked out just now. Remember, 10 to the power 0 is 1. Okay. So this is the concept of indices. Okay. Indices. All right. So yeah. So if you look at it, I think today we have learned a lot of things, which is very useful towards your set 1. Okay. Today is 13 already. So 1 more week, which is 20th, and then yeah, 2 more weeks to your school reopening. Is it 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks? Let's open my calendar. So 4th. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3 more weeks to your school reopening. Okay, which is your set 1. What have you been doing, by the way, during this holiday? Now, tuition, mathematics only, or all subjects? English. Wait. Your everything is what? You know, in set 1, you're going to study how many subjects? Do you know how many subjects you're going to study? In P6. Okay, P6. P6 means English, and then science, and then maths. The higher mother tongue you don't need. Okay. Yeah. Okay. By the way, okay. I hope you are already doing set 1 English, set 1 science. Of course, I'm doing set 1 mathematics already. I hope you are doing your set 1 English and set 1 science already. Are you? Not P6 anymore. Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. Good. So today I think I discovered something much better, which is this whiteboard. Okay. So the whiteboard encourages us to be more interactive, even though you are a bit inactive most of the time, but still I want you to get involved as much as possible. All right. So let me see. For the rest of the questions, I think you start question 15, which is varies. Okay, for that one, right? In fact, I think it's also quite simple. I just quickly spend a bit of time. This is called trend. You need to observe the trend. Okay, so they say Y varies directly to X. Directly means if Y goes up, X goes up. Y goes down, X goes down. So it follows this Y equals to KX. It follows this formula. So then you can see, so when X is 4, Y is 20. So that means your K is 5. So basically there is a factor times 5 here. So once you get times 5 here, then that means 6 times 5 is 30. So now you get a Y, right? So what times 5 is 65. So it's 30. Okay, you get it? So that's how you get this table. Okay, so this is number pattern, no, not number pattern, I'm sorry, just pattern, but the concept of this as well. Okay, good. Okay, good. So yeah, so I think we have a very good lesson, and hopefully today we have learned so many things, and especially the worrying trend in the world's population growth. All right, so besides the climate change problem. Okay, good. So yep, if there is no more question, then I will see you another time. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, good. I thought you are going to shake your camera. Okay, see you, bye-bye.